Yeah, we're live.
Hey. Getting rid of my coffee.
Before we start the beer. Yes.
Oh.
Hello and welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
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 Welcome to our new Streaming the Past.
Yes. This is a brand new episode of... there's the camera, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
This is a bit of a different setup than we usually have. Because it's only two of the value members here. And today we're going to be playing God of War. And we're also going to be discussing God of War. We're going to be discussing how God of War portrays Norse mythology. We're going to discuss Norse mythology in general. And play through some bits of the game. Hopefully I got far enough to get to the bit that we actually want to play for the stream. Anyway, to discuss Norse mythology, I know about Vikings, I know about a little bit, and Caeda knows some as well. We both love the show Vikings, but we only know one, in my opinion, rather well-versed person in Norse mythology.
So.
Who is our friend Hugin?
Hello. We're gonna use the Hugin name. That's
I think it's appropriate. I think
that's
his real name is Mark, but we play World of Warcraft with him, and in game his name is Hugin.
Gamer name. My name is Mark. I'm from Denmark, and just to give you a perspective of from which standpoint I'm talking from when I'm talking about Norse mythology and Vikings in general, early Scandinavian Iron Age, it's gonna be mainly the stuff I grew up with through school and stories told at home and stuff like that, and then it just kind of like stuck with me, and then I'm a major fucking nerd, so I just like consume everything I get into contact with. It's always been stories that have been in the bookshelves in my house and stuff like that. So education-wise, nothing that specifically pertains to Norse mythology or archaeology in any way. I spent 4 years at a games and interactions school in Copenhagen, and
but you've geeked out from live,
quite
like historical reenactment and gone way deep into Viking era details.
Both so I distinctly remember my mother leaving me at Viking reenactment camps when I was like 4 years old. Just like, I'll be back in 8 hours, have fun. So,
awesome.
So
yeah. And I of course know a little bit from having studied archaeology in Sweden, where obviously they're also big on Viking era excavations and so on. So
I think in my case it's just a disclaimer. I'm not an academic, I'm not an archaeologist, I'm not a historian, so I will not know about correct procedure.
No. But we've geeked out in Copenhagen, or in Copenhagen's National Museum of History and all the archaeology there. Which is a really good place to go to if you're interested in this era. So let us begin with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we're gonna play through some different bits. First of all, a disclaimer. I think it's important that we do that.
Spoilers.
There will be spoilers. If you haven't finished the game and you don't like spoilers, then that might be a problem.
There's kind of no way to talk about Norse mythology without discussing the story of the game. So if you care about the story of the game, then this stream
similar
is
to
not
people
for you.
who know the stories about Ragnar will also not be surprised about anything in the Vikings series.
True.
No, exactly. Now that that's out of the way,
Let's begin.
I'm going to head back to the house of Mr. Kratos. We all know him from the previous games. Well, most of the viewers maybe do, and the people that played the previous games. I don't, because this is my first God of War game.
I do not know. Now be silent.
So we're on our way back to the house. This is the house that he has lived in with his son and wife. In the beginning of the game, you cremate her, which is a pretty dark beginning of a video game.
No, in a little tiny boat.
Yeah, because
kind of thing.
in the typical like God of War games, apparently you'd be chucked into some arena with some enemies and you'd start immediately hacking and slashing and murdering but this is a very different path they chose, and I think it really fits the new character, the new Kratos, with his past that's sort of hidden and mystical, much better than the whole way he was before.
So this is him, and who's this kid?
The kid is Atreus. We'll get more into the kid later and talk some about him, but in short, he's the kid that actually that is never really said in the game, but presumably he's the son of the wife and Kratos. So
Heavily implied.
yeah, it's heavily implied. It's really heavily implied, and it kind of has to be but it's never really said.
Okay.
You immediately get into this father-son only thing, and it's kind of like you don't get the whole up intro with the sad bit and the cry, and then.
Can I just ask?
Starts.
Is this snow that we're looking at?
Yes.
White? Yes.
Yes. Why is he wearing what he's wearing in what is clearly winter?
We're gonna take the clothing bit
Later? Okay.
No. I think let's just get it out of the way now. I think first of all, in the whole debate when you have to do like historical clothing or whatever invokes like the typical image of something. First of all, that is Kratos, and I mean he's an iconic character with the whole paint job on him
and the Spartan.
Yeah, but in general, as people really love to portray Norse people from the Iron Age is like this bare-chested and stuff like that. At least they had the common decency to give the man pants.
Sure.
Like, but again, and I think it's like pretty universal in a lot of mythology, like look on Greek vases with naked oil wrestling and stuff like that. So I think it kind of like fits him. Like,
Sure,
I mean,
but
that's the whole
I
mythology.
understand that for Greece, right?
Yeah,
Slightly different climate.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's dressed.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's a modern thing. It's a thing they really enjoy, like destroying. I mean, it looks amazing. It looks cool. But then again, if you look at what he was wearing, and also characters later on in the whole universe, they're always wearing leather, which does not prevent you from freezing to death. Leather is something that can prevent you from getting wet, but it doesn't prevent you from freezing to death.
No.
They would have been wearing wool and fur, like he has on his shoulder, but that's about it.
Exactly.
So yeah, but it's kind of like a dead horse. The whole why don't they look like this?
Okay,
I mean,
okay. We can move on.
The biggest crime is Vikings, but that's another story. This series, but
and I also like the glove or the wristband on his left arm.
Well, that's from earlier.
That it's apparently from the earlier games. I had to find that out as well, and how it transforms into a shield.
Oh damn! How
So
does that work?
it's this thing. It just fans open. It's kind of a fan concept. And you have different ones and stuff and like that. But it's pretty cool.
Okay.
And the axe holder, I think, is also pretty cool, which is the symbol for it's actually the God of War logo, which is this.
The hook on his back. Yeah.
See, that's where his
Okay.
axe goes. I thought that was a pretty cool touch. Anyway, so we're gonna go into the little house now.
Inside.
They've actually just fought a giant.
Troll?
It's not a troll because trolls are different in the game. I don't remember what they're called. I think it's just a giant draugr as well.
I mean, it's a very video game-esque thing to like put all of these like enemies into
Categories.
Categories
Yes.
because like And I think it's a bit different from country to country and what kinds of like old European tales you read about by all these like magical creatures. But in Denmark we just refer to them as the things that live underground.
Okay.
What, Droger?
Droger, giants, which is Jeder, Jotun, so on and so forth. It's just those who live underground.
Okay.
So Aris was saying that what you call the axe holder is obviously the Omega
Yeah,
letter.
The Omega.
But interestingly
Obviously.
enough, the first association I had was with Viking era wristbands.
Yep. Of course, it's styled like that.
Yeah.
Like the whole engraving, so it's a merch.
It's an interesting
Yeah.
cultural mix.
We were kind of talking about him collecting the ashes of his dead wife, so yeah, whatever. That happened. And now
This looks very nice in terms of interior
yes.
material culture.
Do we talk about this?
Yeah, let's
Carry
do
on
a...
with the game a bit if you want.
It looks. We were on the subject with the clothing. The house looks way better. I think they would have been a bit more tidy if they had to live there. But that's
Yeah, but
assumption.
this whole like rock or earthen outcrop where you have the hearth and then the rest with say wooden panels and so on makes a lot of sense. And then obviously a hole above the fire for ventilation.
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense too.
I mean, there's a museum with like really old buildings in Denmark, and they have a couple of examples of Swedish houses, and it's pretty close to that.
Yes.
So it's
All right. I'm gonna sit down with the boy. The boy is just lost control a little bit. As we know,
Weapon.
Kratos has this rage mode where he can go like all Spartan and start slamming and smashing people, and he just goes berserk. That thing happens to the kid as well,
Come on then.
but he doesn't really know what it is yet. So he gets sick whenever it happens. He can't, like, his body is not up to it. So now he's trying to invoke that reaction.
Why are you doing that?
Too slow. Try again.
Cut it out!
Weak. Again. Again.
Stop it!
Again.
What? He just fell into the fire? Through the
No.
fire?
as far as I remember, Spartans have never been known for like kind child raising.
You're
Okay,
in.
fair.
You can get lost in it. That ahead is difficult,
Is the kid tattooed?
and
Yeah.
you, Atreus, are clearly not ready.
We don't have any idea how old he is.
Let's say 10-ish. Maybe 12. But,
It's definitely not the milkman.
no. And now there's a stranger knocking on the door.
It's not
Knock.
the milkman?
No,
Who
it's not.
might it be?
I know who you are.
What's going on? Do you know him?
More importantly, I know what you are.
Boy, beneath the floor. Now.
But you told me never to go down there. Who is that?
I do not know.
What's he talking about?
I do not know. Get in.
Just tell me what I want
Is it
to
still
know.
in Skarsgård?
No need for
Voices
this to
him?
get
Who's
bloody.
the
I
voice
don't
actor?
know who the voice actor is actually. We only know that he is Tilk. God of
Yeah,
War.
yeah,
Tilk.
that's amazing.
But this man.
I was like, the first I saw of the game when I saw him, I was like, okay, fair enough.
Long
Yeah.
way from home.
Explain a bit, because this is what struck me as being a much better depiction
the
of a
dialogue.
Viking.
Have it. You should move on.
Oh, I can pause
Here I
this
thought
probably.
you all kind, so enlightened, so much better than us, so much smarter. And yet you hide out here in the woods like a coward.
See the Barbosa thing? It does make sense, doesn't it? Coward.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Leave my home.
tiny hand. It's just like
That provocation.
yes.
You would not
That moment, the moment that comes now, was one of the best moments in the entire game for me. It's so good.
Fine. My turn.
What?
The God of War, ladies and gentlemen. There we go.
Who is this idiot who just comes knocking on his door and wants to pick a fight?
Well, enlighten Chilla and the crowd, will you
Okay,
please? I'll just circle around him a
that
little
is
bit.
like it is gonna be like, might be difficult not to spoil stuff.
It will. It's impossible.
Spoilers.
Okay, spoilers incoming. So this dude is Balder, which is he's not. So it depends on which text you read about him, but most people will know the Icelandic version, and he is supposed to be the prettiest, the nicest, the most well-spoken and well-mannered of all the Aesir, and he is the son of Odin and Frigg in the real stories. And the thing with him is that the gods had a vision of him dying, and other texts it was himself having a vision of himself dying.
Okay.
But it depends on what text you're reading. And so Frigg gets scared that this will happen, this will transpire. So she asks all the Aesirs to go into the world and speak with everything there and ask it, or swear an oath to not harm Balder. So it turns out that all the things agree, and so if you would try to shoot him with an arrow, the arrow would fly around him and not hit him. And the gods have a lot of fun with this. So yeah, he's basically immortal, which is also kind of like his theme, his gripe in the game, I would say.
The immortality?
Yeah.
Does he want to die? Is he like out to get killed? Is that why he knocks on this door?
In this game, they have changed the story quite a lot from the version in Norse mythology.
I'll say the game version. He does want to die.
Okay.
Really a lot. Like
That's why he
basically,
comes up and picks a fight.
what happened is not Frigg, but I think Freya.
Yeah, they.
Explain
Yeah.
that in a second.
Yeah.
But here, Odin's wife was Freya. Freya had a son,
Balder.
Balder. She wants to protect him from dying. So she, I think it's a, I don't know, spell or enchantment or whatever that they do here. And casts that on him so that he cannot die. He's immortal, he cannot feel.
Yeah, that's
Which
the
is
main
also,
thing.
that's the main thing. He doesn't per se want to die. He wants to feel. He can't feel anything.
Taste or anything.
Taste.
He has no senses.
No senses. So
Okay.
taste or like anything, like a nice feeling, he can't experience any of that. So he feels like it's not an
So
enchantment, but a
that's why we're
curse.
fighting him now, because he's like begging to feel something.
We're fighting him because we don't want to tell him what he wants to know, which is basically that we are Kratos and that we have a son.
Okay.
That's the story in the game. Why he wants to fight exactly at this point is just
Okay.
because he wants to extract information.
Okay.
Later on, it just shows that he really wants to feel and wants to... And at some point, that also happens. And it happens in a very particular way. And that's also how the curse is lifted.
Okay. Carry on with the combat if you want.
Yeah.
So now over
do some slaughter meanwhile.
I can do some slaughtering, but it's kind of distracting because it's also kind of badass. So
Hi,
it's-
Anders. Hi, Karen. By the way.
Hi guys.
So, yeah, one thing I would really had enjoyed to do if I had found it is a layout of the artwork they made for his tattoos, because I noticed a spear tip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And all of these like symbols of course have like meaning in Norse mythology. The spear tip represents Odin due to his spear Gungnir, which is made by the dwarves. I think we're also maybe gonna touch the subject of those
Okay.
some point, but there's everything, like the problem with talking about this, everything intertwines in Norse mythology, similar to Greek mythology, and it's like every time you mention something, 5 new things appear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he's I think the tattoos might be really interesting to like see a layout of what they actually stuck on him. And as far as I've been able to see, like runes and other stuff they use in the game seem to not hold any like proper meaning in them.
Okay, because I noticed the bigger tattoo on his back over his shoulder had a bunch of runes in them.
Yeah.
Oh goddamn!
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The fights are insane. This fight is probably even better than the final fight where you fight him at the end. Because it's just relentless and it's so badass how you just proceed to absolutely molest this guy in so many different ways.
Brutal.
Yes, there is a lot of brutality. Also, maybe a disclaimer we should have done up front, but let's just whatever.
I mean, it is called
It is-
God of War. So
It is God of War. I mean,
I
It's
feel
Greek
like
and Norse
war,
mythology,
war
so-
was implied.
yeah. So have
This is amazing.
have some of this. But can you do this? Screw you. Whee! And some more.
Okay.
Okay. So this guy is pretty effed up. And
Yeah, and then he heals.
Is his skin just bubbling himself to?
Yep.
You talk.
He can't die. So
Oh right.
there we go.
We just discussed this. He can't die. Yes.
This is also like a prime example of like where you choose to like, for example, differ from the way it's explained in mythology, because it would be super boring if neither the rocks or the ground or anything like
Nothing
Kratos threw at
actually
him
touched
actually hit
him,
him. It
yeah.
would just like dissolve around him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Whereas
in
it's
the-
way cooler to do the whole Wolverine
Exactly.
thing where he like heals up.
in the rest
So-
of the game, you basically never encounter this much badassery again, because stuff doesn't break as easily.
I mean, it's
again,
the hook.
and kind of yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go do something.
All right, so I'm stuck in the wall now, and now I'm going to do the Spartan Rage.
Is that like Hulk style rage?
It's
Pretty
a severe
much,
case of
this is
ADHD.
this is probably even. It only becomes more brutal. We take up tree and go.
Who are you afraid I'll find?
Boop.
Let's find out.
And now we fight some more. He's still in Spartan Rage, which is probably kind of clear.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. You're an absolute monster when you go into Spartan Rage. Also, in the rest of the game, it's a very cool mechanic.
Can you always do it?
No, it's a bar that fills up, like a rage bar on a warrior, I'd say.
Boop.
But we're almost out
Yeah,
of it.
the mechanic is similar to that. I know you didn't play it, but I think quite a lot of people did. The Space Marine game, where you also charge up your like ultimate mode, and then you also heal up when you kill stuff in that mode.
Damn. I'm getting the sense that he is indeed hard to defeat, which makes sense.
Yeah, this fight is actually the first time I played through this. It was not easy, and it's actually still not easy.
Also one of the longest fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially
early
for a
on in the
beginning
game,
game.
yeah.
It's just okay. And now we just
Oh!
and he's just like laughing as well, like when he gets tossed around, like ha ha ha, this is amazing. But
I
now,
love this part where he just rams his head into the rock. It's just so brutal.
Oh!
yeah, and he's like, okay, this is clearly not enough. I shall now proceed to absolutely
What?
really fuck you up.
Iron out the problem. What? He
There you
did.
go. So splat.
Okay.
I think it's pretty obvious that that was a good splat. And of course, and I don't even know if I'm actually going to make it because before I barely did.
And you still managed.
Yeah, but this bit is.
What?
You've had a bit of warm up.
What?
Yes.
What?
There we go.
Now he starts to reveal his whole.
He's like fully healed again.
Sent me here. I just needed answers, but you had to act all proud. Throw whatever you have at me. I'll keep coming. That old body will give out. But before I end this, I want you to know one thing. I can't feel any of this.
Oh, that environmental destruction.
Yeah, it's really good.
Damn.
Yes. So now I have to climb up.
It's like these weird things you're surprised about in a video game you see or play. I was genuinely surprised they left in the axe groove.
Yeah.
When he grinds down, it's always one of those like minuscule things they
That
leave
they
out.
might forget,
It's, like,
yeah.
it's not important. Like just leave it out.
That sounds... Oh. Boop.
You can't win. I feel nothing.
I feel happy.
Everything that you.
Not quite.
I'm not my brother, and if you'd given me what I wanted, it wouldn't have ended this way. But no.
Whoop.
Let's finish.
Yeah, he's become a lot more brutal now.
He's full health again, of course. Oh,
Yes,
that's annoying.
yes.
You seem pretty healthy too, actually.
Yeah, I regen some health, but it's not a lot. This bit is so fucking bullshit.
So, what's the point in fighting someone who can't be defeated?
Well, at some point we just kind of like,
Agree to give up?
yes, we just stop and we just have a cup of tea instead.
I think it's the find the temporary solution that Kratos comes up with.
So his tattoos really like glow up, huh? Like they light up with
Yeah,
this
yeah,
blue.
I thought that was really badass too. Shit.
It's interesting though how old of a sort of tradition body decoration truly is. If you look at various cultures around the world, for instance in the Caribbean they had these body stamps and stuff where they could put various
Damn
things
it.
on and just stamp.
Oh, they painted. Okay.
They did paint stamps, but obviously tattooing, body scarring, that sort of
Yeah,
thing is present in a lot of ancient
Okay,
cultures.
we got it.
Perfect. Oh yeah, this part. We'll get back to the tattoos in a
Yeah,
moment,
yeah.
but this one is good.
Nope. You go nowhere, little man.
I'd hope that you, of everyone I faced, would finally make me feel something, but you can't.
Oh!
Be gone. There we go.
You just snapped his neck and threw him down?
Yes.
I
There's
feel like
many
he's not
snap
gonna be
necks in
dead.
this game.
I feel like he's not gonna be dead, though.
I think
right?
now he just have to spend some time like sorting out the whole neck problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Visit the
kind of an
hospital.
issue.
I see.
Yes. So
Damn.
the whole while we walk very slowly, the whole depiction of Vikings thing. Do you think they nailed it?
To some degree, I think people who are interested in Viking culture or early Scandinavian Iron Age, for short, Viking culture, they're getting used to the fact that people just don't learn that Vikings did not look like that. At least there's no longer the horns and the helmet and stuff like that. But
that's a big.
that's a big thing.
Because that's a big no-no, right?
Yeah,
There's
but
like a lot of
it's
people who
just-
think that is cool.
Yeah.
How
And
did that come to be?
I think
maybe
it's
interesting.
for one of Wagner's music pieces. They had to perform at some point. The costumier for the event had to design all these costumes, and he put these horns on the helmet.
And it was like this marketing stunt that just caught on,
And
basically.
nobody at any point just said like, "Hey, but what you're doing is wrong."
Yes,
Yeah.
of course, but you know how this is with historians and archaeologists who are like, but this is not correct. But then popular opinion keeps doing, but this is what I think Vikings look
But you
like.
can
So
also
when I
start-
draw them, I will draw them like this, because then everyone will recognize that this is what I mean.
But you can also take into account that nearly and almost every mythological system that has existed on Earth or in human culture is in general something godlike, has horns on its head. And it's
Okay.
only seems to me like it's in Christianity where they kind of like made the horns a thing for the devil. But usually when you represent gods, I mean, Odin in Norse mythology actually has wings on his helmet. But it's not like a reoccurring theme, but yeah.
Anyway, okay, what do we do now? Where are we going?
Well, okay. So we've talked about Baldur sufficiently.
Yeah.
Somewhat, yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's the entire story, but I would encourage people to go find it and read it, the real one.
yeah, the real one, of course. Let's skip ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to hopefully find my save game from before. That's the river pass. Yeah, that's the river pass. That's the one we
While
want.
you're finding that save, we're talking about the Omega sign on his shoulder
Yeah.
and the merging of those two. And we were talking a little bit about talking somewhat about runes. And I
Yes.
heard this interesting notion that the Greek alphabet at some point should have like wandered up through Europe, and runes are like a distant related cousin to the Greek alphabet back then.
Is that true?
I'm not sure. It's an idea that people have had, similar to where did the Vanir in Norse mythology come from, and people hypothesized that they might be from the Baltic countries. So like this influence that different cultures have had
Okay.
on each other.
Well, of course, the Vikings traded extremely widely. So way down the Baltic, down to the Black Sea, you found coins and so on.
I mean, they even have a Buddha statue in Stockholm,
Yeah.
and you see coins from Afghanistan and stuff like that. So again, trade empire.
Yeah.
So
Massive.
So
What is shooting at?
So we've skipped a bit ahead to where we were before. There's a couple of Draugr attacking us now.
What are Draugr?
Draugr are basically the living dead. It's undead.
Oh yes, very
Yes.
very important. Part
You can
of
destroy
Viking.
them pretty
Like
well,
here.
which is kind of cool.
So you'll see a lot of these Draugr has like swords and weapons on them. And if you find any of, or you go take a look at all these like excavations from grave sites in Scandinavia, you will, and if you find swords, they'll always be bent all the way around, so they do an entire loop. And that is exactly so the dead don't come back as Drogier with weapons. It's easier to take care of undead who are not carrying weapons than with weapons.
Okay.
And the practical reason is also so grave robbers don't steal your family's swords. But yeah, that's the logic.
Yeah, can you go back to this stonework here?
To the right?
Yeah,
that
the
one.
stone. Yeah, the engravings on the stone. Okay, closer to the door where there's that horse also on the right hand.
Ah, yeah. Okay, good spot.
Yeah.
So this horse at the top of the whole knotwork
Yeah.
is of course Sleipnir,
Yeah.
which is Odin's horse, and it has 8 legs and it's extremely fast. And that's like, it doesn't really go deep into what Sleipnir is beyond that, other than it is Odin's horse. There's of course the whole family trees and stuff like that, but that's a pretty deep rabbit hole. One more thing about the knotwork before we leave the stonework alone. This
Look up.
knotwork, the whole.
Yeah, but also above this gate,
Yeah.
there's more.
You will see a lot of the knotwork in this game is symmetrical.
Yeah.
And you would predominantly find symmetrical knotwork in Celtic art, but not in Norse art. Because usually they would take an item that would be randomly shaped and then they would carve into it. So you will see not symmetric patterns, but it will look like this, but not symmetric.
Yeah.
So, and that is one of the major difference between distinguishing between Celtic and Norse.
But what I like is that they do this, lots of this knotted and these infinite kind of dragons and you know, snakes and so on.
And if you
Okay.
get
Thanks,
really nerdy about it, you will also, like, specific parts of Norway have their own kind of knotwork, and in Denmark and so on and so forth. And from different periods, and you will see pre-Christian and Christian knotwork and stuff like that. So it sticks around for quite a long while.
You
Skeletons.
left me to fight alone.
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
People are one thing. Everything
Weird.
else you fight.
Oh, Jaro, what is? I haven't played the entire game, so
Understand?
what this place they're in now? What is that?
We're just continuing our path to the mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. That's basically it.
This way.
What's this? What's what? Up.
What is he wearing?
What is he wearing? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. This looks very, you know, like
I'm trying to get an
medieval
angle
French
closer, but it's
or
kind of
English.
hard.
You have a save we're going into later. That's from like very late in the game, right?
End game.
Yeah.
After everything.
And we're
Okay,
gonna
we can
touch
carry
on
on
the
then.
subject of armor.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, one of the things I found interesting is obviously when I studied in Sweden, we went to a lot of places where they have hellristningar, like these stone engravings.
Yeah.
And what I found very cool about, if you look at the history, they're obviously quite old and they've been repainted many times. And now, over the recent years, there's become this whole debate with them, some of them being protected heritage. Like, can you repaint them? Even though it's been like for hundreds of years, they've
done
always
and
been
done.
repainted.
Wait there.
But suddenly now they're wondering, oh, is repainting damaging the original and so on? But you have these crazy photos of, say, in the 60s, an archaeologist would go there to try to take casts of these rocks to really cast the engravings. And they just like pour acid over them to clean them and do like all this terrible stuff. And then, you know, everyone could walk over them, children could sit on them and have their ice cream.
It's quite recently that the Yelling Stone in Denmark, basically the birth certificate of the country, got enclosed in these like glass boxes because some idiot tagged on both of them.
Oh, damn.
It's just, until then you could just walk up and touch them. They've been standing there for the last like
I'm gonna try to
1,000 years, so.
like do this
Oh.
this is Sparta thing. Nah, this is alright. This is alright. This is just this is not cool. This is stop. What are you doing? Ree!
You're fine.
Honestly, Yeah.
It's hardcore mode. You don't even get to see the game.
Okay, I'm gonna proceed to absolutely
Use
pretty
environment. Can you actually spike them?
No. I did like do the 300 move like 3 times before, but nobody commented on it.
Oh,
so I think the no
Jump
the
up
like they
that's
were standing
Troy,
here
sorry.
at the edge, and I would just go like stabam, and they
Ah,
would fly
that
off.
freak.
That's
300.
Sparta.
Yeah.
The problem is I'm gonna need my axe,
Where is your axe? Oh, there.
but this starts moving down again, so I'm gonna have to be
Good,
very
good,
creative.
So there's a lot of
Oh,
puzzles
that was
in
not
this
good.
game, huh?
And then. Yeah, how prevalent are the puzzles
Uh-oh.
in the game?
They're present.
Yeah. But it's more like a side thing.
Yeah.
Are any of them challenging?
Now, boy.
Yeah, some of them are actually like the first time I did some of them. Like I was spiked here a couple times. I'm not gonna lie about that. There's no use. Yeah.
Wow.
So this is the mountain. We're actually doing that. Like the main story, the main quest of the game is carrying
Never been this close.
his wife's ashes to the highest peak of the realms, which we are on our way to, as you can see.
Okay.
This?
Oh my god, is he gonna push him down the mountain?
No.
No, right?
Kaeda, you're a horrible person.
No, his hand was just... Oh, I got really freaked out. Okay, carry on.
Wow.
This is Sparta training.
And I'm considered the fucked up one like, in this
No, carry
relationship.
on. I thought this game was terrible, but no, carry on. Okay,
No.
it's fine.
Oh, this is actually probably a really good bit as well. I'm not sure,
Can we have a look at the statues? Because now we're in.
Yes.
We're not in Midgard anymore. Right?
Oh, we still are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now we get to the fantasy part. That's
Yes.
Nice.
So there's
What does it say?
As we are, we two, we three. As I alone can never be.
A riddle.
I was just about to ask you if any of
Maybe
the
there's a
puzzles
clue
were
around here.
riddles.
yes, they are. Can you see what we should?
Line up the text.
Yes, very good. So there's
Maybe those rings should be turning.
gonna be
Yes, thanks, guy. We already figured it out.
where's the
You
whole-
don't like the kid?
No, I really dislike the kid.
A lot of people don't, but that's how it is.
I feel like, okay, the way he runs around with you, and
Come back down.
this is not to be extra insulting,
So
but it
it's
feels like he
turning now?
could have been like a dog or something. Like he's just there as like a pet sidekick that
So what
has
we're gonna
no
do now
real-
is try to
Yeah, hidden between the.
break the thing and let it go. See?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And
Ah,
then it
that's
lines it
cool.
up.
Instead
Yeah,
of
it's
just
pretty
like, press this button and then it turns.
No. So we're gonna line it up like this.
So K-I.
I think that part's right.
That's
And in the
probably
middle, the
gonna be-
middle has to go around a little bit. They don't match.
That's a TH at the end. S.
There we go.
So K-I-N.
That's it. I see runes.
My runes are rusty. There's an O, an L. The middle one, the
What do
squiggly
those runes
thing.
say?
Thunder looking one.
It says
Family, it says, according to the kid.
it's the answer. What?
What?
What's
In what language?
Use your knife. and
Old
trace the
Norse?
runes
I
to
don't
say.
remember. And what dialect?
Can you pause so we have a screenshot of the
Ah,
runes?
it's not that important.
No, it's gonna be
Can you screenshot it? Because then we can check it later always. Thank you. Save
Younger.
screenshot. Triangle. Trianguloso.
Fuck.
You can go back now.
There we go.
So now the door opens.
It's working. Oh wait, that's a different game.
I think you mean different
I'm
room.
happy we met Brock, but
It's working. Also on the subject of annoying kids.
It is behind us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think somewhere up here.
There's something red on the right side, yeah.
Yeah, no. That's not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Can't see him very well, so I'll forego this. And let's just keep going, because we're trying to get to a certain point in the game now. Where we hunt boar.
Boar, okay.
Yeah, but it's
Special kind.
there we go, Hugin.
Yep.
Boar tracks.
These tracks.
Yes. Oh my. That actually panned out quite well.
That's kind of good.
Because I actually right before the stream started, I had to go through
We're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get
quite an amount of game before I could actually. We have to first
What
beat one
is
more of those.
this?
His death is a lot better than the first one, though. This is Brenna Dowdy something. Brenna something fire
Yeah, Brenna is to burn.
to burn. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like they, a lot of the enemies in the game are named enemies. Actually have like names made of like Old Norse words. And I'm not an expert in Old Norse in any way, but I recognize some of the words. So they have at least looked up some words in a book somewhere. I comment that. I also like that troll design or whatever this dude is. I would perceive him as a troll. And the rune stones. Bauta stone.
Oh, I can go a bit of ham. I'll do that on the ads.
Oh,
That sounds like a good idea. Before they get out of control.
is that child just running around?
Oh, he's firing some arrows left and right.
You know, Call of Duty had that dog.
Yeah, he's exactly like that. That's what I mean. It feels like he's just some like half useless sidekick that
Jesus.
kind of gets himself into trouble, and then you're like, come here. Maybe that's why he's calling
Is that
him
not
boy
why
all
you get?
the time.
Is that not why you get kids? I was always told by my parents I was born to carry the grocery bags.
Maybe that's why he calls him boy all the time, because he's just like, boy,
Yeah, boy.
good boy, come here, boy.
Thinking of the dog from Disney, Goofy's dog.
Goofy.
Yeah.
Wait, Pluto?
Yeah, Pluto. Pluto.
Hello?
Who was that
Damn,
nerd?
he is dead.
Mad. 'Cause obviously there's also ads this time.
Yeah, but what do they call them? What
No.
kind of mythological zombie creature is it?
Do they have names?
I mean,
also
the other one.
stronger, I think.
Okay. So just more undead. Gengar.
I'm in trouble. I'm gonna
Are
have to get some help.
Oh, there, next one.
And it's probably not a good place to be.
There was
Another one
out
here.
there, yeah.
Keep running.
Yeah, just let the kid stand there. Yeah, that seems.
The kid doesn't have a health bar. Just
Can he not die, the kid?
Yes, he can. I think he can.
'Cause he was just sitting there next to this like troll, like.
the real troll is the kid.
There we
Just
go.
trolling.
Look at this death. This is how they usually die. But yeah. Splat. That's that taken care of.
More ironing out.
Yeah.
Yes, lots of ironing out.
Okay. Brutal.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we continue to hopefully find the boar soon.
Ah, yeah, we were finding a boar, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Boy, I hear your animal ahead.
Boy.
Seriously, when I'm gonna get kids, I'm like no matter the gender, just boy.
Boy.
Dad, stop it.
Boy. Look at this boar though. Look at this
Wait,
boar.
this is the boar?
This is the boar.
What's on its side?
Never draw to your chest.
Something runes. I want more beer.
Yeah, I can get some in a moment. What?
I hit it, didn't I?
Useless
You
boy.
throw chopsticks.
Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna grab some.
What do you think?
The pig is a nice nod to something specific.
Okay, cool. Let's discuss.
Did it just run off? Are we gonna follow it?
It ran off, and we're gonna follow it. Most
Oh,
definitely.
look, there's tracks.
Stay alert.
More of those.
Night attack.
Something else.
Is this a animal pen? Yeah, I guess. And houses? Oh, they look nice.
Look, poor people. Those houses are actually quite, except that they're extremely crude made, but most of the houses you'll find in those like reconstructed villages will be a house dug into the ground and then
Yeah,
the roof
for
is...
the insulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except this one is just then apparently not dug into the ground.
Also, yeah, the wind would
Thank
blow
you.
right through it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah!
I'm just gonna say that Kratos picked a really shitty neighborhood to live in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, splat.
Splat indeed.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
continue.
It ran.
There's the boar again. So the boar.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this boar, I'm not sure, but probably some script writer at the company has read about the boar called Gullenbursty, which is basically a golden boar that can run extremely fast.
Okay.
And that was made by the dwarfs.
Yes.
Dwarf-made boar.
Yeah.
So not an actual boar.
No.
The knife.
I can't remember
Mechanical
if it's actually Loki or the dwarves who made the boar, but one of those.
Okay.
They have
Okay.
this feud or
Mechanical
something.
boar.
No, it's just
Oh.
made out of gold. It has golden
Oh.
fur,
Boy,
Oh, okay.
not in as in blonde, but gold.
I've lost
Okay.
the boy.
What?
boy.
Follow
Yeah.
the tracks.
Call
Where
social
are you?
services. Kratos is a shitty dad.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I lost the path several times here. It's really hard with all the mist and stuff to find
Hmm.
it.
You came from here, so
Yeah, probably go this way
Up
again.
there?
No, I don't
Isn't it
think I can climb it.
Isn't it through?
I think it's
through
through,
there?
yeah. But then at some point,
Keep going. Keep going.
see, dead end.
You can't climb?
No, that would be the painting stuff. What's on the ground? Blood.
There we go.
Ah.
So, why would we be lost here? This is really weird.
Can you not walk out of any of it?
Isn't there a... Try and walk back a little. Walk back a little. Around this corner. And then turn left. There. There. No,
Right,
no, no, no. Keep going. Keep going. And then turn left. Now.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You mean right.
Yeah.
We're back at that dumb
I never
fight
learned it
again,
through
yeah.
rating. It's just...
Other way, I think.
Nope. Hole in the wall.
Wait for me, boy.
Marco!
Oh no.
Atreus!
Left or right? Left or right?
Left.
Okay. We found her.
Atreus!
We found her. Good. 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 Good.
Now the mythological
can't-
part starts to become
Yeah. Now we get
really
into
messy.
the really interesting and messy part.
Anyway.
He doesn't. He's my friend.
The boy was following my command.
Then help fix this. Hold here, please. Hold, I said. He's losing blood. The last of his kind in all the realm, and you shoot him. You needed food?
Target practice.
What?
Target practice.
I'm so
That look.
Keep that
It's
pressure
like,
on.
you
The blame is mine. I
imbecile.
should have a closer eye.
I mean, he does. He does have
I
to
will
practice.
not let him. You. The arrow cut a tideway inside him. Find both ends and hold them tightly.
Tideway?
Start with the left side. Grab it and hold. Now the right side. Hold it tight. Good. Now pull them together. Line them up.
Ooh, very mystical.
You're a witch.
Burn her.
You can't just call random woman in the forest witches.
You're a witch. Well, I am.
He must not die. Good. He seems stable and calm for now. Kratos. This way.
I think this is an
What is
absolutely
happening?
gorgeous bit of the game. I think this is absolutely the prettiest part of the entire video game. It is. Well, there's other places, but they're gorgeous differently.
My mother made it for me. Said I'd
I've
Yeah,
never seen you in these
this
woods.
the colors and the vibrance and just how everything breathes life. It's really cool.
We're taking our ashes to the highest peak in the realm.
Sometimes oversaturation is kind of
It was our last one.
okay.
Boy,
It's just another episode of BBC Earth or something.
Yeah, well,
Planet Earth.
I mean, this is you know, it's clearly overdone and oversaturated, but it can be. It can
But
be
also
like
it
that,
isn't
you know?
magical. I mean, the pig
Needs
looks
to
like
be too
something
much.
from the rainforest.
It needs to be too much. That's
Below it.
the only way it would be. Like, look this. Look.
What?
Look. Look.
It's all right.
It's her house.
It's a giant
Tortoise.
tortoise.
Is he friendly?
Do you think she'd live in an unfriendly tortoise?
Boy. The deer as well, which we haven't seen in the stream yet.
He won't hurt anyone.
Absolutely gorgeous.
This reminds me of tortoise.
I'm thinking the never-ending story.
And I'm thinking Avatar. So good. We have
Avatar.
3.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Airbender.
Yeah. The land, the big, the really big turtle.
Completely
The
evaporated.
island.
Now I'm just thinking
Oh.
World of Warcraft.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
wondering
similar.
how-
That's
That's why I
similar.
said tortoise.
No. He means the Panda Island.
Yeah.
Oh,
Starting area?
Yeah.
It's also a giant turtle.
That is a big turtle. The other one is a small turtle. Small annoying turtle with small annoying mechanics.
Yes. My father
So before we met a stranger, we explained it was Baldur,
Hold him still before he hurts himself.
and what he is and all that. That was talking about Baldur.
Yeah.
Now we met a witch of the woods.
Mm-hmm. And shall I just like
Red root grows.
Proceed.
spoiler bomb the heck out of this?
Now
Please.
you may
Yeah.
go full ham on
Okay,
Norse mythology.
So this is was for me when I watched the game one of the more confusing but also interesting parts because Freya in this game is presented to be Baldur's mother, which is
Realm, but there's no
This is Freya.
Yeah.
By the way, this is her.
He doesn't know, does he? About your true nature.
Freya?
This is Freya.
where is it?
No, because there's also
The
dialogue.
gods of these realms don't take
But-
flight.
Oh,
Wait,
we're
yeah.
trying to save the pig, so please.
When they find you, and they will,
They're talking about
make
she
things
knows he's a
difficult.
god and the kid
the
and
boy
the
will want
Yes.
answers.
that will be
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so she's
Forever.
the mother of the techno Viking we beat up before.
Baldur. Yes.
Baldur.